What then is old school essentials? And what's all the fuss about? And you may well ask, what's it got to do with you, Spikepit? And why do we want to hear what you think? Fair comment. If you don't want to, then just stop the recording now. Go find something better to do with your time. But I urge you to listen on. I've got a lot of time for old school essentials. It's a beautiful book, marvellous production values. Gavin Norman of Necrotic Gnome is a real stickler for details. And mentioning Gavin, I'm going to read out to you, if I may, his description of what old school essentials is, because why not get it straight from the horse's mouth? So, what is old school essentials? A role-playing game of fantastic adventure where players work together to overcome fearsome monsters, sinister plots and deadly traps, in search of wealth, power and glory. An old-school role-playing game styled after the beloved games of the 1970s and 1980s. A relatively rules-light game where the rules are kept simple in order to let imagination and fast-paced action take the spotlight. A streamlined rule set with the books carefully structured for maximum usability during play. A modular game that can be easily expanded for play in many different fantastic genres and game worlds. Well, it's D&D. It's clearly D&D, but he can't say that, can he? He can't say that. And it's a version, a restatement of a well-regarded version of D&D called Basic Expert. That's abbreviated to BX. It's Moldvay and Cook were the folks who came up with it. And I believe it's one of the foundations of this thing we in the hobby call the OSR. I've done a video about my thoughts on the OSR, just kind of questioning some of the kind of confusion that crops up around those three little letters. And my fascination and the response I've got to that video has led me to do this video. I believe that old school essentials is almost a rallying point, it would seem. In 2021, when I'm recording this, there's a lot of interest around this product from Gavin Norman and Necrotic Gnome. This is what it looks like. If you have the box, I backed this back in 2019, and it's a series of modular. Gavin mentioned modular in his description. These little books. Awesome art. You'll find awesome art by some top artists in the hobby throughout the series. I've got to say, I've got nothing but good things to say about it. I'm playing in a game with John Large of Red Dice Diaries, a fellow YouTuber and podcaster. It's reinvigorated or reignited my interest in old school essentials, so I picked up my copy of the core rules. Thought I'd just have another read through. Was wondering, how much could you do just with the core rules and not with the genre books? And not only did I notice on this occasion how lovely the paper is, and I was well aware of the quality of the Smith's own bindings, but the paper is this strange kind of silky without being shiny. It's got a nice weight to it. It kind of got a creamy texture to it, if that makes any sense. But I digress. So, playing in John's game, and this idea that it's a rally point, that loads of folks in the hobby seem to be gathering around. There's loads of interest. It's, for me, my go-to product. It's going to stand the test of time because of the build quality. It's faithful to the original rules without adding any weirdness. Like I said at the start, Gavin's a real stickler for that. It's concise and to the point. You have amazing layout. So in particular, in the core rules, when you open the book up, you'll have a double page spread where that topic is addressed within that double page spread. It's well indexed. You can get PDFs. There's so much good there. Now, I play a lot of 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, and OSE doesn't replace that for me, because I've got another theory, and this one is going to be a bit contentious, because for me, 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons was my old school revival. And I say that because I've been playing a lot of board games. I came back into the hobby through the 5th edition starter set, and I was looking at it with 40-year-old blood-tinted spectacles of D&D nostalgia. So I immediately saw everything that 5th edition had kind of carried through right from the origins of the game. I could see that clearly in 5th edition. And because I didn't really play 3rd or 4th edition, I more or less went into wargaming and board gaming around about the end of 2nd edition. OSE for me is a really handy way to take my 5th edition game and blend the two things together. I think they can sit quite well together. And there are some sort of like hardcore old school type players that they have no love for modern D&D. But there are others who, I think, if we're honest to ourselves, is a bit of a skeleton in their closet, and secretly they have quite a lot of fun playing it. But unlike old Spikepit, and understandably, they don't enjoy walking the razor's edge of public disapproval for saying such a thing. You know, if you are beating your OSR Bible, is it cool? Is it cool to say, yeah, man, well, I actually quite like 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons? No, you will get run out of town. I've been run out of town, but I always sort of come back again amidst groans, and you know, it's all in fun. It's all in fun, but sometimes you do feel if you like both. If you like sort of some of the old stuff, you like some of the new stuff, if you like both and you want to blend them together, that can be a lonely old road, let me tell you that. More to this, because one of the clever things, and something that I podcasted about back at the time, I did an episode talking about the way that Gavin was taking ideas from advanced Dungeons and Dragons, so like another faction of the hobby, bringing it into basic or into, you know, core OSE, and taking character classes, for example, things like druids, assassins, sort of the stuff that we only discovered in AD&D that wasn't in basic, and he is putting a spin on them. And when I first thought about this, I thought, nah, I'm not interested. Not interested in all that old nonsense. Way too much. I'm happy with a fighting man and a magic user. You know, that'll do me. I'm not even fussed about your cleric. In fact, let's get down to it. Just give me the fighting man. Just give me that fighting man. No, I jest. So, up pops advanced fantasy. If you have a little look in there, got to blow my own trumpet. I'm one of the, how does he put it? Let me get this right. I don't want to misquote the man, because he made us sound most important. Indomitable playtester and proofreader. And I'm one of a number there, Colin Green. That's me, aka Spikepit. So not only was I stoked about getting my name in one of these lush books, I had the pleasure of playing in some games that Gavin run. He ran us through Winter's Daughter, which I've got here as well. So we've got Winter's Daughter. Look at that sweet, sweet art. I love that. I love that. The artist, actually, really nice guy. I've met him. He's doing some great work for Dolman Wood. So playtesting with Gavin, and this was a great session. These were some great sessions. I was playing Dwergar, or was I Snurfneblin? Dwergar, I think. And it was good to see Gavin. He not really an online player, and he set up a hangout, a Google Hangout or something like that, and was doing a whiteboard sketching in some of the sessions, and really great bunch of players. One guy from Australia. I think we were playing at around 7 o'clock UK time, and it was still dark in Australia when this gentleman was joining us. So that was great fun. I'll never forget my involvement in the project. If Gavin, at any time, if you're watching this and you're doing some more playtesting, happy to jump in with you, mate. But hope you like my quick overview of the game, folks. If there's interest or there's specifics that you want me to dive into, make a note in the comments. If you want to encourage me to do more of this, like and subscribe. If you want me to crawl back under my rock and shut my mouth, I can't make any promises, I'm afraid, because I'm passionate about this hobby and this stuff just kind of bubbles up. I have control. What about music? Does anybody want music in these videos? What do you think? Music? No music? Bit of guitar, bit of rock, bit of shredding, or bit more funky, or bit of synth. My last lot of synth didn't go so well.